But for 20 years, you had Obama and George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy. They didn't fully investigate the case. They didn't show any curiosity about the case. And now Donald J. Trump is asking his Department of Justice to show full transparency. And somehow that's a criticism of Donald J. Trump and not Barack Obama and George W. Bush.
JD Vance didn't show up tossing recycled one-liners. He came armed with a blade. And the target? Barack Obama's carefully polished image. For years, Obama coasted on charm, speeches, and myth. But Vance sliced right through the polish, exposing what was left behind. A resume
It up with this soundbite from the vice president, who gave an interview to the Gateway Pundit and said as follows, SOT 15.
I think the only thing the far left really responds to is power. The thing that they're actually going to be responsive to is the recognition that there are consequences on the other side. If they get off scot-free, if they're never investigated, if they're never prosecuted when they violated the law, then they're just going to come back and do the exact same thing again. And
For over 10 years, Obama was treated like America's chosen one. The man with the magic paws, the healing words, the big promises. But Vance ripped that illusion apart. Sure, the speeches gave goosebumps, but the results? Nowhere to be found. Take away the stage lights, and Obama's presidency looked more like a movie trailer than the actual film.
I don't believe, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, whether you agree with Donald Trump or disagree with him, I don't believe in hectoring voters. I believe in persuading voters. Your support is not something I'm given or something I'm owed. It's something you got to go out there and work for. So one, I just don't like the tone of going in. I mean, look, the better question for Barack Obama or anybody to ask is not how dare you not vote for Kamala Harris. It's maybe they're thinking about voting for Donald Trump because they're sick of being censored, they're sick of being told what to do, and they're sick of not being able to afford the...
Quick break before the next blow. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, because this one burns. Vance went after Obama's biggest contradiction, the self-proclaimed defender of working people who rolled out the red carpet for elites. Mr. Hope and Change bailed out Wall Street, then cashed in after leaving the White House. While ordinary Americans waited in line, Obama was already in the express elevator to the top.
Could you I didn't quite get that. Could you just reread that, would you mind?
President Obama is a raggedy black supremacist president, and his cowardly enablers would rather kill everybody than stop killing white people. Do you think a person, yes or no, who says that should be appointed to the FCC?
I would need to know more of the context, honestly.
Okay. Well, I think clearly a person who said that should not be appointed to the FCC. Okay. And in fact, you retweeted the exact same thing, only with President Trump instead of President Obama, and the races reversed.
This is where Vance landed the real punch. He didn't just call Obama two-faced, he labeled him the ultimate salesman. Obama could pitch a dream with a smile and a slogan, but when the box showed up, it was empty. Healthcare. Prices skyrocketed while corporations feasted. Foreign policy. Endless drone wars and instability. Obama wasn't a fixer. He was a motivational seminar disguised as a president.
So it's the big tech companies that were censoring conservatives. They've got to know that's not going to be allowed, and there are going to be consequences for it. The banks, the president is really preoccupied with this, and rightfully so. And of course, you've got to pay the lawfare back in kind. You've got to say to the Comeys and the Brennans of the world, of course, you got to follow the law. You can only prosecute people when they actually broke the law, but we know that a lot of people broke the law in the last administration, and they've got to face real justice, not just words, not just getting hauled before a committee in Capitol Hill. If people broke the law, they have to actually be prosecuted for it. Because I think that if they do that, if they know that the consequence for breaking the law is go to jail, then the next generation of Democrats, they're not going to try the same thing.
Here's where the attack cut even deeper. Vance didn't waste time chasing conspiracy smoke. He went straight for Obama's cultural status. He smashed the myth of invincibility, revealing him as nothing more than a polished performer. Sure, the guy could work a teleprompter like Shakespeare, but when it came to actual governing, he played cautious, stayed safe, and kept his hands clean.
There it is in that last...
And the timing. Savage. Obama's been tiptoeing back into the spotlight, throwing slick jabs at Trump, making polished appearances, carefully reminding people of his golden years. But Vance wasn't buying the nostalgia tour. He told America that Obama wasn't the cool dad steering the family. He was the dad who vanished, then returned to sell books about pretending to care. Charisma without backbone isn't leadership. It's theater. And Obama gave the nation one long show.
Kamala Harris, it's maybe they're thinking about voting for Donald Trump because they're sick of being censored, they're sick of being told what to do, and they're sick of not being able to afford the American dream. Okay, so set to the side the hectoring and the tone of Obama when he went in and talking about black voters, like whatever. Obviously, I just criticized that. You know what I was watching him talk? You know what I thought to myself is, agree or disagree, and obviously I disagreed with about 99% of what he did when he was in office. He had substance.
Vance even mocked Obama's presidency like it was a premium HBO drama. Cinematic, suspenseful, full of cliffhanger, but the finale? A flop. The obsession with optics outshined the results. Instead of stepping aside with dignity, Obama has run the priciest PR tour in presidential history. Netflix deals, big-ticket speeches, choreographed interviews. And Vance's MIC drop. If a product needs that much shine, maybe it was never that good in the first place.
Republican VP nominee JD Vance is hitting back at Democrats. Yesterday, he spoke to CBS Evening News anchor and managing editor Norah O'Donnell. And she asked him about Trump's black jobs comment and Michelle Obama's response. Here's what he said.
I think we should elect our president not based on skin color, but on merit and on who's going to do the best job. What I really dislike about a lot of the rhetoric coming out of the Democratic convention is, on the one hand, you see speakers say that they believe in unity. On the other hand, they're attacking Donald Trump and the people who voted for him. They're saying that Donald Trump dislikes people because of skin color, when in reality, Donald Trump dislikes Kamala Harris's policies because those policies have led to a lot of suffering.
Here comes the knockout. Symbolism doesn't pay bills. Factories kept closing, wages stayed flat, wars dragged on. Obama served up historic photo ops while the real issues rotted underneath. He promised unity but fueled division. He promised healing but deepened the wounds. Vance ripped off the mask. Obama wasn't a unifier, he was an illusionist.
She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years.
The twist. Obama didn't just fool America. America fooled itself. People swooned over his calm tone, the global applause, the cultural cool factor. But Vance asked the question nobody else would. So what? What good is respect overseas if your own people feel abandoned? What good are smooth speeches if nothing changes? Obama's real skill wasn't reform, it was rebranding the same old system and selling it as progress. That's not leadership. That's marketing.
Obama didn't bridge divides. He papered over them with speeches while the cracks widened beneath the surface.
And the receipts. They're piling up. While Americans wrestle with inflation, collapsing healthcare, and broken communities, Obama is living in luxury estates, cashing streaming checks, and headlining events with ticket prices higher than a mortgage. He still rolls up his sleeves for the cameras, but let's be honest, it's all costume. The symbol might still be alive, but the leader checked out years ago.
Democrats have essentially been like, Sydney Sweeney represents like a Nazi white supremacy issue. Do you think it's that deep, and do you think attacking Sydney Sweeney is how they can win back young males?
Is that a good move?
Yeah, my political advice to the Democrats is continue to tell everybody who thinks Sydney Sweeney is attractive is a Nazi. that appears to be their actual strategy. I mean, it actually reveals something pretty interesting about the Dems, though, which is that you have like a normal all-American beautiful girl doing like a normal jeans ad, right? They're trying to sell jeans to kids in America, and they have managed to so unhinge themselves over this thing.
Vance didn't just roast Obama, he dismantled the very idea of him. The illusion that charm equals competence, that speeches equal change, that hope equals results. Once those illusions crack, the myth crumbles with them. And that's Obama's soft spot. He can't walk away from the spotlight. Every attempt to polish his legacy only shows more cracks, and Vance is right there, pointing and laughing.
Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday, and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but it's good. I love you guys.
Vance closed with fire, torching Obama's moral high ground. Obama loves to act like America's conscience, lecturing people on how to live, think, and vote. But Vance flipped the script, calling it elitism in disguise. The same president who launched drone wars, mass deportations, and corporate favoritism doesn't get to preach from a beachfront mansion. And his obsession with Trump. Pure insecurity. If Obama's presidency was truly transformational, he wouldn't need Trump as a prop to stay relevant. Real legacies stand on their own. His doesn't, and Vance made sure everyone saw it.